get chances, just need to keep the penetration going, and they'll be fine.
What number are you at now?
What number what?
I'd say a little bit more nervous now.
I've gone up to a 7.5.
Can we keep an eye on this through the second half?
Where are you?
I'm gone higher. Clean sheet first half, yeah. As long as Liverpool get a goal and there's sort of 10 or 15 minutes to go, I'll take that.
They don't score in the first half, do they?
No.
So it's not their habit.
8 games they've gone. They haven't scored in 2021 in the first half, so I'm not too worried.
All right, so we got a half of football still to go in this. Of a country vibe to you, don't you?
I can do anything. That's what you want, isn't it?
All right, that is our first half, a Heineken unmissable moment. We're going to have you... Oh, we're going to get you more on the Champions League. The second half, so coming right up. We'll be back in a second. Looks like you can see we now know who the two victors from today, who Liverpool... Sorry, Jamie. Who Madrid.
Hey.
No, wait, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
So we got PSG against Man City, Real Madrid against Chelsea. PSG, Man City, it's all new money. You must hate it, do you, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, it won't go down well with the G14 or the big clubs, but as I said, it took them a few quid to get there, didn't it? They spent a few quid, so let them have the day.
It's two cracking semi-finals that we've got coming up for you, though, here on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports in just a couple of weeks' time. Jamie, should we start with you? How gutted are you after that?
No, listen, I didn't think Liverpool would get through. I thought one of the best I've seen Liverpool play, certainly since the turn of year. I thought they were outstanding. But a lot of the time this season, the focus on Liverpool has been at centre-back because of the players that they've got out. The big problem this season for Liverpool has been scoring goals. It really has. That's been the biggest problem. And I've said this before. The front three for Liverpool, now maybe the front four if you had Jota, but the front three who started tonight, that was what this team will be remembered for when we look back at Jurgen Klopp's time over the last 4 or 5 years. But famous front threes for any team don't normally stay together this long. This is almost the fourth, fifth season this front three's been together. You go back to 2018 Champions League final. That was Salah's first season, the first season this front three were together. And they scored 91 goals. This season they've only got 46. So there's been a drop-off and that has to be broken up this summer. That doesn't mean I'm talking about selling people, but they need to bring someone in to break that up and almost have a new front three or a different dynamic in there. Jota's added something, but they definitely need to add something because tonight, if that had been the front three from 4 years ago, the way they were playing, Liverpool would have had a decent chance of going through, and that's what's let them down, missing the chances in this game. What about Phillips? Was you impressed with him tonight? I thought he was brilliant. I thought Trent was outstanding as well. You know, these are the two players who got a lot of criticism in the first leg. You know, certainly on that first goal. But I thought they were excellent, and that's, again, why I say people talk about the big problem at the back. I think Phillips has been outstanding since he's come in, or certainly done a lot better than people ever expected. Trent, again, on the back of his performance in the first leg, was really poor. Thought he was outstanding defensively and offensively tonight, and with better finishing, probably could have had a couple of assists. But no, I've got no complaints. I'm pleased the way Liverpool played, but I think it just tells you the problems that Jurgen Klopp needs to fix for next season, and one of them is definitely bringing in someone to score goals. All right, so let's take you over to Alex Scott, who is at Anfield for us, watch the game live for us there. Alex, you heard Jamie, I'm sure, saying he's pleased with the way Liverpool played, obviously not pleased with the way the result plays out. How did you feel about the game from Real Madrid's perspective?
It's hard because obviously Liverpool set the tempo and really came at Real Madrid, but then on reflections, Real Madrid, it's like you're setting a tempo, but Real Madrid kind of still controlled it in terms of, yes, all the attacks, but they knew that they could go away and get that away goal and just waiting for that opportunity. Obviously, Real Madrid really depleted with their injury, so I think overall they've come away from this game. Obviously, yes, they've qualified, but coming from this game was like, OK, we've done the job. We managed to get over all the injuries with the squad that we put out today, and we've progressed. We're through. And people are still writing them off, but once again, they've got to a semi-final.
All right, Alex, great to hear from you. We are going to let you go so you can go and get some interviews, and we'll speak to you again in just a second and hear those interviews that you managed to sweep up for us. Go on, Micah, have your moment in the sun. No, I'm not gonna be smug. Man City deserved it today. You look smug, though. Do I not? If you want to see Micah Richards being smug, check his Instagram. What's singing Blue Moon? You were singing the Beatles, weren't you? Ooh, a little fine for you, eh?
You've been reading up on the Beatles, then?
No, you heard you lot talking about it. But Man City were very good today. It's nothing I expected them to comfortably go through. Dortmund
Did you
caused
in the
them
opening stages of that second leg?
Yeah, they had chances. They had chances in the first half. They should have probably scored 2, 3 maybe in the first half. So it was always going to come. If I'm being honest, I was a little bit nervous because...
You were very critical of them first half.
I thought Mahrez was amazing 1 minute and then off it the next. De Bruyne was the best player on the pitch. Foden stepping up when it mattered again. A little bit, let's say, average at the back. They didn't have to sort of contend with too many attacks. But when Dortmund went through, they looked a little bit shaky. So, yeah. But
it still took like a soft penalty and a goalkeeping mistake for them to win the game, though. They were not that brilliant.
But
I mean, they're through, but they were not that brilliant.
It doesn't matter how you get through, Peter.
No, you have to. Here, you have to take your emotions out of it and be honest. They were not that brilliant. They look shaky. You know, I thought Dortmund, there was an opportunity there for Dortmund, which they didn't take. I give you that. But Man City were not in full control, and they weren't in full control in the first game either.
Yeah, but the possession over the 2 legs was about 70% to 30%, and they had numerous occasions to score. But yeah, they weren't at their best.
Micah, or Michael, or whatever your name is. You have to look at it this way. The Bellingham goal that wasn't in the first game, they got away with that. They scored in the 90th minute at home to get it to 2-1. Today, soft penalty.
Coming from someone who won the Champions League in the last minute of the game,
we did it in
you're
style.
talking about late goals.
We did it in style, you know. That was a piece of art.
Well, look, we're in the semis now. You know, it's like me. I've come today dressed for the semis. This should be my final attire. You know, step by step.
Right.
We'll get there.
My point is, they're through, but they were not convincing.
Okay, I agree with that.
What do you think then on the back of that performance, them coming up against PSG?
Do you know what? Again, I mean, I think this is Pep's challenge with Man City. I think we talked about this pre-match. I think he always thinks he's putting too much pressure on someone like Stones today. He looked shaky against Haaland. For some reason, he was fearful of him right from the beginning, and there was a little bit of joy with Haaland. He could have taken advantage of that. And I think Pep overthinks things. He makes it too tactical. If he could relax a little bit and just let the players do what they do, then I think they have a chance. And they will do better. I'm absolutely convinced about that.
Peter's had the final word there,
Yeah,
hasn't he?
oh yeah, he's coming from Big Meat,
Let's take you out to Dortmund, where Jens Lehmann was there to watch that game live for us. You've heard the thoughts, I'm sure, in the studio of Micah, who seems pretty satisfied with Manchester City. How will Dortmund reflect on that game, Jens?
I think they had a great chance to go through here, actually, because they started strong, not scared, and what Peter said was true. City looked a little bit full of respect, and then Dortmund even scored, and we sniffed the sensation, but then they dropped off much too deep, and that's an art as well. You need to know how to defend and how to make spatial gains, and they just don't know it. It happens again and again in the Bundesliga and now even in the Champions League. Sad here.
It's a young side, isn't it? And obviously lots of young talent in there. Erling Haaland is a player that everybody's been looking at. Did you see what you wanted to see from him tonight in a game as big as this?
No, nothing, because they let him down a little bit. As I said, the approach after they scored was too defensive, so Haaland couldn't even get the ball. They did not play for him, they did not create chances, and they couldn't actually release themselves from City's pressure. And it was just waiting to happen that City was scoring, and unfortunately an easy mistake, which should not happen on this level, was due to have a penalty here, and then it went on, and the goalkeeper didn't do well at the second goal. So, sensation didn't happen here for Dortmund.
Jens, just staying on Haaland for a second there. There, of course, it's a lot of talk about him leaving Dortmund. I've also heard when I was in Dortmund not long ago that he's done a deal to stay for another year and then leave the next summer. Do you think he's going to stay at Dortmund?
If they insist, he has to stay because he doesn't have a release clause now at the end of the season. When I see him, I think, Peter, you know as well, that he's probably an unprecedented striker because he's full of speed, very physical, technically very well. And I can't remember any striker who I was afraid of. But if I was confronted by him now, I think I would be a little bit scared.
That's your age. That's got nothing to do with how good he is.
Jens, where does German football sort of feel right now with Borussia Dortmund